Yay. Okay. Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
Welcome. I'm so excited to be talking to you, and really appreciate you taking the time to agree to do this interview. I just feel like it's so beneficial for other mamas to hear about other mamas' experience. And I feel like you had such a transformational experience and like just I feel like your life has just blossomed and I'm literally looking out my window and there's a rainbow, right?
Oh,
As I'm speaking to you. So I'm like, oh, this is perfect.
oh.
This is perfect. So yeah, thank you for agreeing to do this with me. Maybe you can start by just introducing yourself, when you did the program, and just like a little bit about you so folks know who you are.
Okay. My name is Nicole Woo. I I'm I reside here in the Kingdom of Hawaii, originally from New York, native New Yorker. Artist. What I am an artist, a visual artist, a movement artist, a space artist. Like I'm an artist. I'm a creator,
Yes, you
basically,
are.
and I create in many ways. Diverse ways. I am a mama of two beautiful boys who are now 13 and 11. So when I did the course back in 2020, right when we were transitioning into lockdown, they were 10 and 8 at the time.
Wow.
So yes. What else? Oh, I also underneath my belt now, as far as my titles, is that I am also a um, certified practitioner of integrative quantum medicine, and I love letting people know about that because it's also been a game changer in my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're a continuous learner is what
Oh
I've
yeah.
learned about you. You just like always learning, always growing, always taking this course, doing that. Like you're just like you're a sponge for knowledge and wisdom and
Mhm.
how to grow, how to become better. So yeah, so when you think about way back in 2020, what were some of the challenges that you were facing that made you want to join the program?
Well, at that time, it was March, I believe, in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and my mother had passed in September 22nd, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like 6 months, right? And so
Gosh,
when
yes.
the program came along, like after her passing, it just shifted a lot of things to, it was like,
Mm,
I didn't even have the language for it at the time, but um, November, so that was a couple of months after her passing, I chose to go into therapy because um, I was just processing a lot, but actually my initial reason for going into therapy was because of how I was showing up as a mother, and I didn't like that. So I was like,
mm,
I needed support. So and I had been in therapy before, but it was like off and on for this and that. So this time I was like going to focus on, you know, I thought I had anger issues. And so I was in therapy for my anger issues, and we were trying to figure out ways to cope with my anger, right? So then when I had the opportunity for Wild Mama, I have to admit, like knowing you personally and the kind of person you are, I'm like, whatever she's having, I want it too. And and because of what I was dealing with, again, it was like this feeling of grief mixed with discontent, just a lot of things. Oh, and then also at that time, I was in a relationship with my son's father, and processing the grief and all those emotions, I didn't feel like there was the environment and space for me to do that in my home. So
Mm,
being part of the Wild Mama journey was like a perfect timing because I was like, I need something.
mm,
And so that combination of what was happening at my life and then also just I like you said, I've always been this lifelong learner, and something I remember years ago I had the clarity of vision of what I was really um wanting in my life years ago. This is back when I was still living in DC. Um, I said I wanted to master myself. And so a
mm,
lot of the books that I've read, the programs that I've done, it's, you know, right now there's a term that people call self-help. And I kind of feel like it's not really about self-help, it's about self-mastery. Like how do you master
mm.
yourself? How do you really learn how to really work with yourself and not against you? That's not my mama like.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know that one.
So when your program came along and I was reading about it and stuff, like I was really excited. I was like, this sounds like me. But it was a little bit tricky getting into the program because at the time I was financially dependent on the boy's father because I was also uh, I call it a full presence mama where I was educating my sons.
Mm,
And that was my world.
mm,
And so I had to, like, he was the gatekeeper of the finances. And so there was a little tussle and challenge even getting into the course because that meant having to access funds, but also having to plead my case that this was worthy funds to invest in me. And it was really tricky and uncomfortable, but um right around that time we got the because of the lockdown we got those checks, so that like I'm putting my money there. Because it's like
yeah.
it's in my name, I'm gonna use it. So and then I think I requested it as a birthday, and somehow he came along and
Yeah, yeah, you did. Yeah.
was and he okayed it, but it was
Yeah.
really uncomfortable even just getting into that whole process. So
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you're just bringing up just all the things you were navigating at that time, like the complex emotions, mourning a loss, like, working, like you said, your anger, like what is that expression of motherhood that's not feeling good? Like the inner tension that probably was there that you didn't know quite what it was, what the roots were, right? And then like, okay, I know I need help, I need community, I need support, but then how am I going to pay for it? And then sort of navigating that whole thing, that whole dynamic, which I know you had talked about a lot of, like, being, like you said, a full present mother, teaching your children, homeschooling, doing all these things, but you're not earning income. So then, like, how do you advocate for what? And I feel like so many mamas are navigating all of those different things. Even when it's a working mom, it still feels like this dynamic of like, like how do I advocate to invest in me, and like how do I ask for my own money, like, so I just feel like you're really highlighting just the complex feelings and emotions and just uh situations that you were experiencing all at the same time, plus a pandemic coming. We
yeah,
didn't you don't need you we didn't even know what was coming.
yeah,
And it's just like everything together is just like, and
yeah,
but I really commend you for figuring it out and like saying like, no, this is what I need, and pushing it, because you could have easily
yeah,
been like, oh, this is too uncomfortable, I don't think so,
yeah,
let's find some other free
yeah,
thing to do, because
yeah,
there's many.
yeah,
So you came in, but so then talk to me about kind of like the holistic approach then, because you could have gotten free stuff, and there are lots of different courses, there's cheaper
yeah.
programs and things like that. So like, how do you feel like the holistic approach maybe was different from those things, and how did it actually help you on your journey?
The thing that was really different and that I loved about the program, it was multidimensional.
Mm.
We had our live sessions, we had the one-on-one, we had our group sessions, we had our independent work where it was independently paced as well. So the I think anytime we use that term holistic, the base of holistic is whole, and whole is inclusive. So anything inclusive should also be diverse.
Ooh,
And so your
drop the
program,
bar.
to me, your program and how it was actually how I experienced it, there was just these diverse ways of interacting with the content.
Mm.
And so with that, there was just more exposure and opportunities to deepen into it. And even now, like, I don't know if you're going to ask me this, but I'll just answer right now. But I was thinking the other day because I was looking back at some of the things that I wrote down, and I was just like, wow, like I was at such a different level of myself
Mm.
that like I actually want to do the course again because like even though the course it was wonderful and I had really wonderful benefits from it, and at the same time I could only access the course with my level
Where
of
you,
consciousness
yes,
at that
at that
time.
time, yes,
So
yes.
some of the things that I was writing, I'm like, that was so surface, Nicole. I've gotten so much deeper now.
Yes, but
But
you
now,
got that
right,
deep because
I
you went
started
through it. Yes.
exactly like for me, for the level of consciousness that where I was, my own self-awareness, while Mama helped me start the process of digging deeper. And one
Yes.
of the things that was a gem, like so much, but one of the things that you said, and I may have written it down, but I'll paraphrase it. But I remember you said something about, I think it was in one of our one-on-one sessions, and you
Mm.
said, there's an ocean of you. Like there's something about you saying like inside me, there's a whole ocean. And I
Yeah,
remember like, there's
yeah.
a whole ocean in me? What? There's a whole deep, like I never like the way you put it,
Mm.
how who I am and my internal being is like this vast spaciousness of
Yeah,
unexplored territory.
yeah.
I had never, like, I was still like surface trying to fix and approach my life. So
Right,
to
right.
even know that there's beyond that was amazing. So that's why the holistic approach of different levels of access actually
Mm.
helps to the process of digging deeper, which always
Yes.
is about not only the digging deeper process, but like what unfolds and is revealed through that.
Yes, yes. And it's so funny because I feel like what you're saying about sort of like, oh, I'm so much deeper. That was such a but at that time, that was deep for
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm finding that a lot with mamas who now are kind of coming back again. Like it's been 3 or 4 years since they did the program, and they're like, oh, like, the program cracks things open. We start to dig a little bit. And then for those 3 years, you've been digging. Like you took those tools, you took all of that wisdom and that knowledge that you gained, and you went swimming. You went like, okay, I'm gonna go explore this cave. I'm gonna go explore this thing. I'm gonna figure out. And you've been peeling back the layers, integrating what you learned, right? All the new knowledge and understanding, while also now actively unlearning stuff that got uncovered. And so you have been committed to doing that work. And so I found that there's like this integration period for like 2 3 years after the program, sometimes a little
Mm.
bit more, to like bring it back. And then people are like, oh, I'm ready to go again because now I'm a different person. I'm a different person. I'm a new person. and now I want to see what would I get now. Like, it's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
because the content isn't like created for like a one-time moment. It's like
Mhm.
it can meet you at any moment that
Yeah.
you're in. And I feel like that's what you're speaking to, is like, oh, I'm in a new moment. Now what will it uncover? What is this Pandora's box that can get open? Because I'm ready to go deeper. I'm ready to swim deeper, and I
Yeah.
want to know myself even more. And I loved what you said about the I just lost my train of thought. It's right there about the yeah, it just lost me. It was something about the holistic approach, about
Oh, the
the
being
div
multidimensional,
yeah, being
or
multidimensional. Yeah,
yeah,
like
and
that
it's
that whole
diverse.
piece.
Like
Yes.
diversity. Like if you're going to talk holistic, then you have to talk diversity. They're not
Yes.
different, you
Yes.
know.
Yes. And that is Mother Nature. That is Grandmother
Yes.
Earth. And that's the roots of the of everything that
Yeah.
we talk about in the program. So I just appreciate that you named that, because I'm like, yes, that's so that's so a part of the essence. So in the program, what do you feel like was like a turning point for you? Was there an activity or a week, or like a particular, I know you just said that that piece of like knowing about the whole ocean inside of you was like kind of like
Yeah.
a breakthrough for you, but was
Yeah.
there like a turning point that really kind of like shifted things? I can think of one, but I want to see what what comes to mind for you. But like, what was like a turning point for you?
Yeah, that comment really, like in the one-on-ones, because the thing that, so the one-on-ones, the way you facilitate the group, and we have these questions, and we're, and we share and we learn and we do our, but in the one-on-ones, it's like you see the person's soul.
Yeah.
And so there's like no hiding. And
Yeah.
so for me, the turning point was hearing myself from your lips in
Mm,
a way that was different. And it wasn't like you were trying to, like, your coaching, it isn't about telling a person what they need to do and
right.
not need to do. It's just like you kind of like put up a mirror and say, this is what I'm seeing.
Mm,
And so to have a expanded view of myself was really a shift.
yeah.
And then another shift too. Did it happen during the program? I think it happened during the program. Everything, it's been so,
I
but
know.
the, you know, was when I actually started and implemented the morning
Yeah, it
routine.
was that was what I was thinking of. It's definitely during the program.
Yeah. When I started implementing that, because I had up until that point been really on this cycle where my time was all about my children.
Mm-hmm.
And then after they went to bed, then it was like the my time. So
Yeah.
basically, my cycle from the time that they were born up until that point was I gave myself my undivided attention at the end of the day.
Mm.
So with the leftover, energy, and at that time I would like eat sweets late at night so that it could like give me the boost to stay awake, because I don't do coffee and stuff. So I would eat, but I did chocolate. And but yeah, once I shifted that, it was really cool, because it was like, one, I set the intention to do it, and
Yep.
two, I did it. Like just that alone, just like, yay,
Yeah.
accomplishment. But
Yeah.
then like setting up like how it felt to really begin my day in that
Mm.
way was really, really a game changer. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things I remember was like a big struggle was like, in order for me to wake up early, I need everyone else to be
Yeah.
on board. I need everyone else to also go to bed early or be on board. And so it was all this feeling like I got to convince everybody, I got to make a case for why waking up early. And I was just like, just do it. Like,
Yeah.
if they're still up, just go to bed. Like,
Yeah.
you don't actually need to talk to anybody about this. This
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a family affair.
Yeah.
If you want to wake up early, then
Yeah.
you wake up early. And if you need to
Yeah.
go to bed early, then go to bed early. And that was it.
Yeah.
And you were just like, what?
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
really
Because
that simple?
you know what I realized is that at that time, and this is something that I am shifting away from, but part of the thing that I was unconscious of how I was living my life is like I was living my life for everyone else, but in a
Mm,
way, and I wouldn't think that, like I wouldn't have used those words, but how my actions and mindset was, it was almost like I had convinced myself that I need permission to.
mm,
Anytime there was a change or a thing, it was like in my head or subconsciously, I need permission to.
mm.
And and I didn't really see how that was like giving away my power,
Yeah,
but instead I was seeing it as, oh, it's because this person, that person, that person.
right,
But I had this mindset, well, I need permission
right,
to
right,
whatever, fill in the blank.
right, right. Which then builds resentments too over time because it's
And
like,
then I wonder why I have anger issues.
right, right. Exactly. Like you're suppressing your own voice and you're not just doing what you need to
Yeah.
do, being in your power. You're trying to get permission from other people when they don't see what you see or feel like what's important to you and then give you permission. Then you get
Yeah.
mad, you get angry, you get resentful. And then it's this whole dynamic that almost creates like this child parent relationship with people that is not help. That's not you as Nicole, as a woman, as a mother, as an adult,
Ah,
right?
I'm gonna adjust my feet right now because sorry.
No, it's all good.
There.
Yeah, there you go.
Sun is someone
um
shade.
no, it's good.
So what you just said, that's something that I am like again, like Wild Mama just like opened up this was like the christening of this voyage that I've been on
Mm,
since 2020. And
yeah.
this is something that I'm really um in the process of shifting and growing through is that I just recently told someone, I was like, I feel like now at the age now I am, my children are now 13 and 11. I finally feel like, oh my goodness, I'm becoming a woman
Yeah.
because I didn't realize that mentality that I had, that I didn't even realize that I had that mentality.
Yes.
But it was one of like a child parent, like this dynamic of,
Yeah.
yeah, that what you just said. Yeah, like,
Yeah. And there's no power in that, like in that dynamic. The way that we kind of operate in society is like, I do what I'm told to do. I
yeah,
don't move unless you tell me it's okay to move. And like you said, living for other people, like, well, I need your approval. Like if I just go do this thing and you don't approve it, then I'm going to be upset because I want to please you. Like I want you to be happy with me. Like it's all of these complicated dynamics. And it's so weird because it's like, we're put like on us as mothers, we're often just put that like you should already know these things. Like it's like an automatic, you become a mother, you are a woman. Like what are you talking about? You have to take care of, and nurture children. You have to grow with them. Like you have to like do all these things. You're a superwoman. What do you mean? Your nurture just turns on. Like, but so many of us as mamas are still feeling like we're like children ourselves. Like no matter what age you become a mother, it's like just because I became a mother doesn't mean I'm an adult yet. Like even if I'm of age, I haven't adulted yet because I
yeah,
haven't fully healed. Like I haven't worked through all of my stuff, right? So I feel like you're sort of like touching on all of those layers and those dynamics that are like at play, which is why this journey is so complex, why it's so
hmm,
nuanced, and why we need to do this kind of deep work to like unpack and look at all the layers, because it's just like that's a lot to hold, and to like have to also then, I'm a mother, I have to show up for my kids and there's expectations, that
Yeah.
like come with that. But inside, I feel like I'm a kid having a tantrum. Like I'm like, like I'm acting out with like with my own kids.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And
wait a minute.
I
And then there's
didn't
guilt and
know.
shame.
So, and then the cycle just repeats and yeah, so I'm glad that you use those words, guilt and shame, because I was definitely playing that game with myself of that cycle
Mm,
and the guilt and shame. And so one thing too that was really beautiful about the program, the community that was created and the women who were in my group,
mm,
I liked how you grouped us in small groups so that we
mm.
could make connections
Yeah.
and bond with each other in that way. And something about when women share stories,
Mm,
it is like the, what do you call it? It's like the antidote to like shame and guilt and all of that. Like
mm.
there's something that I say this, that shame thrives in the dark
Yeah.
and thrives when you're alone with it.
Mm,
But something about when you start sharing your stories, it really cracks and helps to like take the power away from shame.
yeah. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so even if you could speak to that, like the accountability piece of showing up with another community, because I know you value community a
Yeah.
lot, and so these are women you didn't know, mothers you had
Mhm.
never met.
Right.
Yeah. And, I feel like in order to get the real value of the program, you do have to allow yourself to
Yeah.
open up. So
'Cause
what was that like for you?
so for me, I have to admit that wasn't a hurdle because I'm very, adept and have had so many years of experience of communing with women.
Yeah.
The thing that was different was that usually when I commune with women, it's like within my realm of friendship circle, like arm's reach, like I know this
Right.
person and they know this person. But then,
Yeah.
I was communing with women that I had never met, different parts of the world, different backgrounds,
Yep.
ethnicities, and so the beautiful thing about it though was when you hear the stories, I'm like, that sounds like me.
Yeah.
That sounds like me, and so the beauty
Mm,
of community also, it's like it forces the us to really appreciate the beauty of humanity,
yeah.
because then it's like we have this shared experience that even though you may look different than me, even though you have a different background than me, have a different culture than me, when we share the stories of motherhood, it sounds a lot like my experience.
Yes.
Like there's something that's very unique about being a mother that really um it's like the theme song to what it means to be human,
Mm,
like when you start really listening to motherhood stories. And
mm,
so hearing the stories actually just encouraged me to be more open and vulnerable,
mm,
because that's something else too that I really feel like there's generosity in a spirit and when people share their tears, their stories, like
mm.
that's coming from a generous spirit,
Yeah.
because it's like when you share, it's because you know what you have is valuable enough to be heard and shared. So to be on the receptive end of these women's stories, their tears, their hurts, their fears, their joys, like it felt very much like I wanted to give. So I'm receiving that. So now I want to give. I have something to share too.
Yeah.
So there
Yeah.
was just this genuine spirit of generosity,
Mm.
of connection, of community. Yeah.
Yeah. And for some of those mamas, that wasn't easy, like being vulnerable and crying and being open. And
Yeah.
it's not like we're trying to make everybody cry,
No.
but when you're digging in, it just happens sometimes, like so to be in that safe space where they could do that. And then, like you're saying, by me showing up and just being really honest with myself and shedding tears or just being, expressing that, yeah, I feel really angry or resentful about this thing, it gives other people permission to like oh, you could do the same. Like you can also
Hmm.
be open, and that's where the beauty of like the individual, like you were saying, that multidimensional, there's your individual journey, but then there's that collective journey
Hmm.
through relationship and seeing and witnessing, but then also being seen and being witnessed, which as mothers, when we're told to be isolated, hide in the back, no one wants to know what you do or have to do to make this happen. To be in a
Yeah.
space where it's like, no, I want to see you.
Yeah.
Tell me
Yeah.
about yourself. It's like, ooh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
It's new. It's very new. Um, so can you share like kind of where how you've applied things that you've learned, the tools that you know, because you said you had this long 3-year journey. You've gone through a lot. We haven't even touched, you know, the things that you've had to move through in these last 3 years, but how did you apply what you learned in the program to your life in the last 3 years?
Well, one, when I think of the word application, it implies like the use, right? Like
Mm,
physical action. And so the thing with the program, there was so much shifting internally that a lot of the application for me initially, or not even just initially, throughout, it was like this internal shifting and use
mm.
where it was even beyond my conscious. It wasn't like today, like, oh, today I'm going to do this thing of Wild Mama, there,
Yeah.
but instead, it's like Wild Mama became what I want to say is almost like a way of life where it wasn't really attacking, but it was
Yeah.
almost like the mind shift was subtle but deep enough where I just couldn't see things differently. And so what had happened was when you can't see things differently anymore, like once you really have, like you cannot, like once you know, you can't
I
unknow
know.
something.
Right. Right.
So part of the knowing and how it affected me going forward and how I applied it was really like there was this deep shift in what I could tolerate anymore,
Mm.
or like or like what I could tolerate, not like I remember, I began dancing more. I just became like valuing my joy more.
Mm.
I became less tolerant of things that didn't bring me joy. I continue with my morning rituals. That was really dope. There was a period of time where that fell off, but that's like part of the journey, right?
Yeah,
But
totally.
like I had it in my belt, and because I had the morning ritual going, it led me to other opportunities of discovering myself, and
Mm.
that helped to fuel that. Like, so I feel like Wild Mama, like to say to apply, it's like it almost like for me, Wild Mama was like the match that lit the stove, that cooked the food that I ate and nourished myself and my family. Like there's like this, so the application, yeah, like if you're looking for a linear answer, I
No,
love that
I don't
shit.
want a linear. No, there's no linear
But
answer.
it's
No.
just, but it's just like this undercurrent that, like,
Yes.
for example, um, something that you would tell us often is like imperfect action.
Yeah.
Like for me to wrap my head around that was tricky because I was coming from wanting to please, wanting to get permission. I did feel this internal pressure to be perfect and have to have the right
Yeah.
answer. And
Yeah.
that's something still now that I am still undoing and detangling from that
Mm.
kind of thought.
Mm.
Still to this, like on my refrigerator right now, is the beautiful postcard that you sent to us with work for yourself, not against yourself, or
Yeah.
something. I forget, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I have that. I was just looking at it today, so
Aw.
that reminder. And so, in so many ways, the process of Wild Mama, and there were so many tools you gave us. There
Mm.
were so many. That's why I said I'm gonna do it again. But I feel like Wild Mama was the setup or the foundation for me to receive more understanding and deeper understanding of
Mm.
myself that then led me to be able to navigate through the even bigger shifts and
Mm.
changes in my
Yes,
life.
yes.
That now that I'm on this side of all those big shifts and eruptures and stuff, I'm like, I could catch my breath, but also recognize, like, okay, like I did it,
Yeah,
and thank you.
yeah,
Thank
of course,
you.
of course. No,
Yeah.
and that's always been my intention with the program, that it's not just like this thing you did and then it's in the past. It's just like, but it's like, no, this is a lifestyle. I really want our mamas to like really embody this. And honestly, when you were talking, the vision that came in my head is like you being dipped like deep in the ocean, like, and then you came out, right? And you're like, damn, that was deep. But then you don't even realize how that water is soaking into your
Yeah.
skin, into your blood, into your body as you're still going, right? And that's kind of what it is. I feel like the program itself is like you get drenched in all this stuff, but you don't even know that as the years go on after, whether you're consciously looking at your plan or not, like you said, this shit is coming into your bones, into your skin, into your cells, into your body. And it's like, ooh, well, we have to change. Like we have to evolve. We have to uncover, because you can't not. It's like I know, and it's like your subconscious knows, your wild woman, your spirit knows. And so then it's just this process of coming into deeper and deeper alignment, like you said, with yourself
Yeah.
over the course of this time. That 3 months or 2 months in the program is, that's not enough time for that to all
Yeah.
seep in this way. But it's like
Yeah.
you have enough to integrate and to like
Yeah.
become that. Now it's like you're at this point of like, oh, drench me again to
Yeah.
like let's go again and let's see if we could get even deeper, because
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. And so it feels like, when you think about soil, it's like that top level soil, we kind of have to like loosen it up,
Yeah.
move it, and you've been moving the top, getting a little deeper. And now it's like we're starting to get to that wet, soil that's in the ground. And it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
give me some of that. Like,
Yeah.
and that's, yeah, that's the beautiful thing, is we just, our roots get to keep going deeper and deeper. And I feel like the program is set up, like the content, all the things, which is like amazing to me. I'm like, it just, we just keep going together. Like
Yeah.
it just works.
Yeah.
And that's really dope. So, I know we have only a little bit of time left. I would love for you to speak on two more things. One is, because you're an avid learner, and you kind of touched on this a little bit, but I do want to know why you feel like this is different than, because you've done Tony Robbins, you've done all these programs, the self-help, the like from the more healing stuff to the spiritual stuff, like you've done a lot. So I feel
Mhm.
like you have a lot of kind of like comparative like things, to be able to say like, why is this different, or why would you come back to this versus going to
Mhm.
something else, like I really
Mhm.
would like to hear your perspective on that.
Um, the thing that really resonates with me with Wild Woman, because it resonates with me as a person in my approach to life, like as far as Wild Woman is the inclusivity of the holistic practices
Mm,
from not only, because also I, not only am I a learner, but I also have been in spaces where I facilitate role of, I'm in the role of teacher, and I would like a different name than teacher because I feel like everyone teaches themselves and I just help to
mm,
facilitate the process.
mm.
So not only like the approaches of or the modalities of like what you're using, from the visual to the writing assignments to, the videos, the one-on-ones, like I really love that holistic approach too, of like just it really helps a learner like me who learns in so many different ways to
Ah,
access
yeah,
the content.
yeah.
Yet also the content itself, like I really like that there's connection with nature.
Mm-hmm.
There's connection with like you bring the writing of from the book Women
Yeah,
Who
Women Who
Run
Run
with
with
the
Wolves.
Wolves, and that
Yeah.
has always been my favorite book from forever. When I first read it, I was just wow. And so that combination of, I think it's
Mm.
the combination of the content, what we're talking about, and how it's it's implemented. Again, you got to keep coming back to the diversity
Mm.
of it is what's truly enriching for me.
Yeah.
Whereas with some other programs, they've been great. Like I'll still, take other programs, but some other programs are very like focused in such a way where that's all I can get from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas with this, because it is holistic, because of the approaches, because of the content, it's like I could keep going back and going back and going back and rediscover things, discover new things,
Yeah.
like be in different places. So
Mm.
um I think the richness of this program is in the diversity
Mm.
of, and then of course, that is centered around being a mama. And the irony is we center mothers, yet, okay, I'm going to choose my words very carefully. We center mothers, but it's
Yep.
like in Wild Mama, there's creating this space for bringing all of you, and at the same time, it isn't about the children.
No, I
You know what I
exactly,
mean?
exactly.
Like, and it isn't like we're saying like the children are nothing, but it's just like
Right.
we're going to pour into you, mama, because of all
Yes.
you do, and you need to be equipped with your own genius and brilliance. And it's like
Yes.
the program, even though it's focused on mothers, it really, I, I'm like trying to
Yeah.
find a word, like,
No, I know
but
what you
it's
mean. It's
really a,
not focused on your act of mothering, right?
yeah.
Right? Like it's focused on you as a human being. Yes, you are a mother, and yes, that
And
is a portal, but
that's, I think, why it's can be uncomfortable for mothers,
mm,
because there's this training that we've been trained that you cannot focus all on you. How
yeah.
dare you?
Yeah.
You need to be last in line,
Yeah.
children first all the time.
Yeah.
Any kind of act that you take must be about doing what's best for the child. And,
Yes.
one of the things that like I had to advocate for myself in this recent, I call it repositioning.
Mm,
So last year I had a transformative repositioning of my family where the marriage was dissolved. But in one of the things I had to advocate for myself, and one of the things I had to say was like, you don't understand, like me being good means the children are good.
yes.
And so I had to advocate like me being in sound footing, and I had to advocate for myself. But I remember being very clear, like me prioritizing what's good for me is always going to be good for the children. And I think
Yes.
that's the shift that
Yes.
Wild Mama really taps into, is like we got to make the mamas good.
Yes.
It is for the children, because like by nature, who we are,
You're
we're
gonna
gonna
take care of them.
we're gonna
Yeah.
do that.
They're not gonna be
We don't
neglected.
need more training about that. Like, not to say that
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Like, not to say
Yeah.
that you could always learn about parenting and all this stuff, but
Totally.
putting them, making them important to your life, or prioritize, like we don't need training on that. We know we all
No.
do it.
Yep.
But what if we flip this, flip the switch, flip the
Yes.
script, and really just pour it into mamas?
Yes.
So
Yes. The whole
yeah,
society is going to benefit, not even just our
yeah,
children.
yeah,
Everyone's going to benefit. Like we're the
yeah,
bedrock of society, but that's not how we're treated.
yeah,
And I think it's a fundamental belief that I have that if I'm happy, my kids will be happy. If
yeah,
I'm genuinely deeply good, my kids are going to be good.
yeah.
Everybody's going to be good. if I'm
Yeah.
good. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm like for real good, not just like the
Yeah.
people pleasing, putting on a face, like all these things,
Yeah.
but if I'm deeply spiritually in my soul
Yeah.
good, everyone is going to be great.
Yeah.
Like, and I know this, and that's something I've always believed, which helped me have to leave old relationships or transition, make those moves, because I'm like, you know what, I truly believe if I'm good, if they're good, the kids are going to be good,
Yeah.
even if it goes against the norms of society.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be great. So
Yeah.
I love that you name that, because it's so true, and that is everything about the program. We don't talk, like, yes, we talk in coaching, parenting comes up sometimes,
Yeah.
relationships, all those things, but the content, it is not about mothering, it is not about any of those things. It's all about you and how you, like you said, master yourself, come into relationship with yourself, love yourself, like all of these things. And how do we come back into alignment with nature and the rhythms of nature? What are your rhythms? It's like, oh, whoa. Like, I could talk about me being a parent, but like, can I talk about me being me?
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's
Yeah.
what you're touching on. So would
Yeah.
you recommend this program to other mamas, and what advice would you have for mamas maybe considering it?
I definitely highly, highly recommend the program. Um, and the advice that I would give to mothers considering it is, um, think, okay, so the first thing that comes to mind are our ancestors. And
Mm,
so it's like, I feel like this kind of opportunity is not only a gift to yourself, not only a gift to your children, but a gift to your ancestors. Think
mm,
about all the mothers
mm,
and their stories, and imagine if they had a program like this. Imagine if they had a community like this who can truly support them and really help them to really know themselves. Imagine how much generational healing that could have already been done. So the
mm,
fact that if you're, have this opportunity now, like you're not only contributing to your own healing, but like generational healing,
mm,
because
mm.
I do believe that time is not linear. So whatever we do now affects both ways, the past and the
Yes,
future. And
yes.
so, if anything, do this for all the women in your bloodline who did not have this opportunity. Now it's
Mm.
your turn to take this opportunity for them. And not only will you be better for it, but your children and your children's children. It's just like the gift that keeps giving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
Nicole. That is so beautiful. And I've been thinking about it similarly, like with my daughter. I'm like, it's like the future mothers that are coming, right? Like our daughters will become mothers if they choose, but like, our kids, they'll become parents. So it's like the future generations of mothers. What's the tone that we're setting for them?
Hmm.
So I love that. It's like all about those 7+ generations that
Yeah.
that's our deeper why. It's
Yeah.
what we keep coming back to. So
Yeah.
that was great. Thank you, Nicole.
Yeah.
This is
Thank
beautiful.
you.
I love you so much.
I love you too, Tiff. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
being the beacon in our community. Thank you.
Yeah. No, it's my joy and my pleasure. I'm gonna let you get to your day. Thank
Yeah.
you for spending time with me. And yeah, I'll let you know when this is all ready to go. But this was a lovely conversation. I
Mhm.
appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Okay.
Mwah.
Have a great day.
Okay, you too.
Okay.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Peace.
Bye.